Yes, you. Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast, a podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Today's episode is brought to you by Jen and Juice Coaching by yours truly. For the past 5 years, I've worked with over 100 people to help them feel, less stuck. Whether you're looking to change careers, start a side hustle, or just get a strategy for your life, head on over to jenglantz.com/coaching and you can find out about my 1-hour coaching specials that will help you feel like you can finally cross those things off your to-do list and start whatever kind of project, life change, or dream that you have. Hey, any youngers, it's me, your host, Jen Glantz. Welcome back to another episode of the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. Yesterday was my birthday, April Fool's Day. What a birthday to have. It's been my birthday my whole life. I turned 33, and as a kid, that birthday is rough. Mainly because when you're a kid and they find out that April Fool's Day is your birthday, you become the literal fool, and they play so many pranks on you. And maybe there are other people out there who have an April Fool's Day birthday who don't mind all these pranks, who have accepted them throughout their years of existence. But for me, it was a nightmare because growing up, I was super shy. I was so shy, I barely had any friends. And when I did have a friend, I did whatever I could to just hold on to them as long as possible because it was so hard for me to make friends. I barely spoke. When these pranks would happen on my birthday, it would just rip me apart. I mean, there were pranks growing up as a kid with like trick birthday candles that would never blow out. And I would just be there at my birthday party, like trying to blow out the candles to all the friends that showed up, which were like 2 friends. And I just couldn't blow out the candles and I would cry. To being in high school, people would mess with my car. And I remember I had just gotten my car and they were just doing all these crazy things to it. And I would cry. It was a tough birthday to have, but in its essence, it is such a birthday that I think describes me and my personality and my drive and everything about me. April Fool's Day is just like the perfect birthday to have. And now that I'm older, I'm 33, I see this as a different kind of blessing. And I want to talk a little bit today about birthdays because I have had the worst possible birthdays for the last 2 years of my life. And I don't want to go into too much detail, so I apologize in advance for being sort of vague, but it's just pretty personal details I just don't want to share. But something really traumatic and bad happened to me on my birthday 2 years ago. And then it also happened again on my birthday last year, which I know sounds weird and crazy, but whatever happened 2 years ago just had an extended time period of 1 year, and it ended on my birthday last year. So both of my last 2 birthdays were so bad and painful and horrible and rough. And these were things that also just really shook me personally. They just happened to fall on my birthday. That's why for this year, I decided to do things differently. I remembered back to the best birthdays I've ever had. And a lot of my birthdays haven't been so good. And maybe you can relate to this because you have such high expectations. You want all of these things to happen. And you also want to jam it into 24 hours. Like you want the 24 hours to be so special. And sometimes it just isn't. Or people let you down. Or things don't go as planned. And I remember just like so many birthdays where I would be mad at my parents for something. Or just birthdays where like they just didn't live up to my expectations. Or things like that. But some of the best birthdays I had were when I decided to take fully control of my day. And if my friends or my family wanted to plan anything, I let them plan it the day before, the day after, or at night. But what I would do on my birthday is block off the whole day, and I would call it Jen Day. And on that day, I would just do fun, interesting things that I liked by myself. So one year I got a massage, which is something I like, but I never do. Another year I took myself shopping, and I didn't buy a lot, but I just took myself shopping for the day. Another year I went to a bookstore and just read an entire book on that day. So Jen Day, which became my birthday, was just a way for me to take control of the day and do something nice for myself. That way, I could almost guarantee that it could be a special day because I was planning it. And again, if my friends and family wanted to get involved, I gave them an opportunity to, just not during the day. So that's what I went back to doing this year. And I had an incredible day, and it almost hit me that there's a formula to making your birthday special. And if you stick to this formula, you won't be disappointed, and you'll have as best of a day as possible. So here's my 3-step formula that I've sort of figured out over time. Number 1, plan something nice for yourself. So if you're like, the idea of a Jen Day, of spending my birthday solo sounds horrible, fine. Do things with friends, do things with family, but also try to block off one thing that day. Maybe it's for a half hour, 20 minutes, 2 hours, where you do something for you. I mean, think about your normal life. How often are you treating yourself to something? How often are you doing something by yourself? So think of one thing that you can do for you on your birthday. It is your birthday, by the way, so you should have full say in that one thing you want to do. Maybe it's waking up early and driving to the beach, or going for a long walk, or going to get breakfast by yourself. I did that one year. I remember I woke up early, I walked to get breakfast, I sat at the breakfast spot and started planning out my goals for that birthday and that year ahead. And that was such a beautiful moment in the day. So number 1 of this birthday formula is to do something nice for yourself that you do by yourself, to have some alone time. It's powerful to just sit in the moment and the feeling that this is a day for you that you were born on, and you got to celebrate that. Number 2, think about what are the things that you enjoy the most when it comes to food. There were so many birthdays that people would plan for me, and we'd go to these places, and I'm like not a foodie. I'm your most basic food eater that you've ever met. I like a pizza. I like a plain pasta. I like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, that's what I like. And I would spend so many birthdays, and it was so nice of my friends, but we'd go to these expensive restaurants, and we'd have all these meals, and I didn't really like any of the food, but I didn't really know what to do. So think about the food that you most enjoy and splurge on it for your birthday. So this year I told Adam that I'm going to spend the day doing Jen Day stuff, but at night, all I want to do is order in like my cheap local Brooklyn pizza and get a Carvel ice cream cake. I love Carvel ice cream cake. I wait all year. I wait 365 days just to eat this cake. So knowing the food you like on your birthday can trigger that happy feeling, can make you feel like you had a satisfying day. And number 3, the third thing that you can do to make your birthday feel special and be special is to start to figure out how you want to spend your time. And I mentioned like the whole Jen Day thing, but the other thing that can really throw us off on birthdays is the overwhelmingness feeling that we get from social media, from our phone ringing, from everyone just trying to contact us. So because our birthdays go by pretty quickly and we're sometimes so scared that we're going to waste the day and there's pressure around that, think about how you want to spend your time. Maybe organize your time for the day so that you're not spending 5 hours on Facebook reading all your Facebook comments that afternoon. So those are sort of my tips for you about how to try to have a good birthday. Now, this is my second birthday in quarantine, which fine, that doesn't really upset me so much, and by quarantine I mean during the pandemic, but the truth is, like, even though we are in a pandemic and we might still be in a pandemic for a while, using these 3 tips, you can still do something so special for yourself on your birthday. Even if you were stuck in your house and you couldn't go anywhere, if you just planned a fun day for yourself at home, ordered in your favorite food, and chose how you used your time, your day would be a lot better than sitting around being upset, feeling like no one met your expectations, or having no idea what you want to do. So plan ahead and make the most out of your birthday. It's your celebration. You should be able to do what it is that you want. So this year was an awesome birthday. I really enjoyed it. And again, it's probably because I had 2 really, really horrible birthdays in the past 2 years, but this year was simple and it was what I wanted to do. And honestly, it wasn't much. And I didn't even spend that much money. And during Jen Day, all I did was sort of just walk around town, but I enjoyed myself and I enjoyed doing nothing. Also, another thing I have to mention is on my birthday, I usually sit down with a notebook and a pen, and I plan out my year ahead. I plan out the goals. I plan out what I want. I plan out everything, because that way it allows me to have a time throughout the year to sort of check in with myself, put these things on paper, and work toward something. And I remember I did that last year in 2020, even during a pandemic. And I looked back this year on a lot of those goals thinking I would have done none of them, but I did a lot of them actually. And sometimes there's such power in just sitting with ourselves on that special day and putting on paper some of our hopes and our dreams and things we want to accomplish. So I always do that on my birthday. I do a recap of the year before and I plan for the year ahead. And that's a truly special moment that no type of bad birthday could take away from me. So those are my birthday tips coming at you from an April Fool right here, a true April Fool born on April Fool's Day. I had a wonderful birthday. I did not cry. This is the first year in a while I didn't cry. And I'm just so grateful for all of you, my dear listeners. And if you're sitting here like, Jen, can we get you a birthday gift? Yes, you can. The only birthday gift you can give me that I truly want from you is a review of this podcast. I know I keep mentioning them, but reviews help us get found by more listeners, help us get guests, help me stay ad-free, and all of that fun stuff. So if you're listening to this on iTunes, scroll to the bottom, leave us a review. It would mean so much to me. It will take you honestly 25 seconds and it means everything to me. This is the best birthday gift ever. Thank you so much for being a true listener of the show. Back next week with an even better episode than this week and in the future. So much more good stuff to come in 2021. Cheers to a happy birthday on my end and celebrating it with you inside of your ears. Go out and get a slice of pizza, a slice of cake in honor of me this week. Coming at you with another episode next week. All my love, Jen Glantz. Hey you. Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for a good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.